Rapid European Championships in Monaco. But I'm doing my 2025 recap just now, 2 weeks in 2026. Anyway, it's better late than never. So let's get going and let's have a look at what have been played, have been said, and have been a lot of have been things. Yes, it's a little bit complicated as usual. But let's start from the very beginning. So I will be like going back and forth between my games and some of my photos that I've picked, just a few photos per month. Otherwise, this recap might last for a long time. That's the photo January 1st, 2025. And if you are watching it on YouTube, well, it's very hard to put a live comment, but I'm streaming it on Twitch and my chat can guess the place this photo was taken. So January 1st, 2025, the new 2025 year. I was celebrating and meeting and in any guesses in the chat? But I was in New York. I was in New York just after completing the World Rapid and Blitz Championships, 2024. So we have a tradition nowadays in the chess world to finish the year just a few days, or actually on the eve of the new year, by playing Rapid and Blitz. It's a big feast for the players. It's very nice tournament. Sometimes they go well, sometimes they don't go well, but if they do go well, then you have something to celebrate, definitely. In New York, I did pretty well in Rapid. I shared second place, I believe, and although I spoiled the Blitz, well, we had our kids with us and we celebrated the new year in New York. And yeah, you can see me. You could see me by the Christmas tree somewhere there. After getting back to Europe in January 2025, also quite a good tradition. It's already been, I think, 3 years like this. The European Rapid and Blitz Women's Championship happened just a few days after New Year, so like in January, beginning of January in Monaco. Although it's a little bit complicated because the European Rapid and Blitz that were held in January 2025 officially called European Rapid and Blitz 2024. Anyway, one way or another, I did play in Monaco. It's a little bit like it's tough compared to the World Rapid and Blitz, because in Monaco the schedule is different. We start with Blitz, and it's 13 rounds per day, like the whole day we play Blitz, and then followed by 2 days of Rapid, 5 games and 6 games. So quite an intense schedule. I did not do so well in Blitz. No. I did. I think well, I did not start well, but I don't even remember how I did in Blitz. I shared something like 5th or 6th place. I don't remember. But in Rapid, I was struggling. I don't even remember. Let me see what I remember that I won a bronze medal, European Rapid and Blitz, women, Monaco. Oh my god. That's how I prepared for this stream. It's been a long time ago, as you can see. Okay, I need to find. Okay, so let's see. Show tournament details. I was seeded first in both Rapid and Blitz. At that time, my rating was much higher. I lost quite a few rating points in Blitz and in Rapid this year. Well, because a lot of players are underrated and it's hard to keep the... Anyway, In Blitz, I finished third. Okay, in Blitz I shared second, third. I scored 10 out of 13 and took bronze medal. And in Rapid, also remember it like there were many ups and downs as usual. In Rapid, I shared fifth place, fifth to 10th. I scored 8 out of 11, so not quite a bad result, but I picked a game, not a Blitz game, but a Rapid game for you, the last round of the Rapid Championships. I was playing against Dinara Wagner, and it's a nice game, I think, to show, because it's quite spectacular. So e4, e5, some Italian, a4. Okay, there are so many lines and so many move orders, and don't ask me why a4 and now I played a4 in Monaco last year, and this year I already played a3, and there are many moves, and I'm still learning. Maybe one day when I know all the nuances, I will be able to record a course on the Italian. For the moment, I just recorded the course on the loud Italian, which I do recommend you to watch. And the loud Italian meaning c3, knight f6, and then d4. But in this game, I played the so-called quiet Italian, d3, knight f6. Yeah, and here's a huge crossroad with so many different move orders and lines and variations. Well, I played a4, a6. Well, a4, the idea is to secure the bishop. So after knight a5, it can go away to a2. It also has the idea to grab some space on the queen side, right? So I'm protecting the b5 square, but I'm also heading to a5. I want to put the pawn on a5, and then I want to keep rolling with my pawns on the queen side. So that's basically my plan. You see that I'm doing exactly that. Of course, black also can like try to do the same, can play a5, but it has its drawbacks. Okay, so a5, castle, bishop g5, h6, bishop h4. Well, since black kind of closed this diagonal and the bishop cannot go back, I'm trying to put pressure on the king side as well, on this knight, by pinning it, because it's pretty annoying. The spin is pretty annoying, because one of the main ideas for black in the Italian game is to bring the knight to g6 by playing knight e7, knight g6. And after bishop g5, well, this move is still possible, but the problem is that it runs into bishop takes f6, and the pawn structure is damaged after that. It's still possible, sometimes black still plays it, but okay, it has consequences. So black played h6, bishop h4. Again, I keep the pressure, I keep the pin. Bishop a7, so far so good. Knight b to d2, some basic classical moves. And here comes a problem. How to unpin the knight, how to develop. Probably the best way to do so for black would be just, to play queen e7, bishop e6, some basic stuff. But Dinara played g5. And g5 in this concrete situation, while I'm not castled yet, actually it plays in white favors. So I sacrifice a piece. It's quite a classical sacrifice. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. But in this particular situation, I sacrifice a piece for 2 pawns, and plus this pin is still on the board. King g7, queen f3. So I'm not letting black again to play knight e7, because the knight will be hanging. Rook h8, Dinara played, and okay, it would be better to know opening lines. What can I say? I played bishop d5. I knew that in some line bishop d5 is the move to make, with the idea to play knight c4, knight e3. It's not that bad as well here, but knight f1 would have been much stronger, with the idea after bishop e6 to play knight e3. And, well, white has very good compensation. I mean, white is not winning here, but has a serious, can put serious pressure. For example, let's say knight b8, right, with the idea to play knight d7. Then knight f5, then I take knight d7, and it feels like, okay, black at least secured the knight on f6, protected it. But I play h4, and that's the reason why actually not being castled here plays in white's favor, because this rook comes into attack easier than with the king on g1 and with the rook on f1. So followed by rook h3, rook g3, rook f3, and I can always castle along if needed. I'm a piece down for 2 pawns, but the position is almost winning. In the game, I played bishop to d5, although knight f1 once again seems to be better. h4 was also an interesting move, but it's a rapid game, 15 minutes plus 10 seconds, so not that much. And queen to e7. Okay, and here for some reason I played knight f1. I don't know why I included bishop d5 though. But okay, one way or another, that's what happened. Knight d8, black played, and I don't really like this move. I think, well, the problem is that knight b8 now is possible, but knight g3 and knight d7 is not. Knight f5 will be always here. So probably bishop e6 would have been a little bit better. Because again, I can play knight g3 though, but it's harder to play with black. I mean, the computer might even indicate that it's possible to hold this position for some kind of king g6 move, but it's so hard. Because, well, material-wise, I'm almost fine. I mean, yes, I sacrificed a piece, but I sacrificed it for 2 pawns, so which is more than okay. My opponent played knight d8, I played knight g3, so after that she cannot play knight e6 because of knight f5. c6. Let's see what would happen if she would play bishop e6. After bishop c6, like the computer, again, bishop takes d5 is not a threat. So I can just play h4, and then longside castle, h5, h6. It's very hard to unpin those pieces. In the game, c6 was played first. I retreated the bishop, bishop e6, which is quite natural. And I decided to play d4, which is quite a move. But I've seen this idea. I remember that I've seen this idea somewhere. The idea is that if black captures, then I play e5 and I played knight e4. But of course I could have played h4. d4 looks very, very powerful, but also a little bit risky in a way. Rook h6. And here for some reason I captured on e6, which doesn't look good at all. Because, well, I improve black's position a lot. I help black protect this f5 square. I could have just castled. Probably I was afraid of something like rook g6, but it doesn't work really. So I should have even castled. Though I could have played h4 and again, like rook h3 is a nice idea. But anyway, in the game I captured, so you know, when you're attacking in a rapid game with sacrificed material, you always feel like, you know, getting back the sacrificed material just to secure the position. The position is still okay, it still was like quite a big advantage, but it's, I mean, at least black is not pinned and it's easier for black to play. So check. Again, I don't castle for some reason. I should have castled. And here I decided to play f4 and castled, which is not really the right way to do. When you're opening up the center, usually your king is supposed to be safe. And here it's not safe. And why hurry, right? Why hurry? You can just castle. f4. So I'm letting my advantage sleep. And here black had to play 5, I think would have been better. to try to open up the center and try to prove me wrong. Instead, she played d5, I played e5, and at least I secured the position in the center. And I even did manage to castle. And all is well that ends well. Yeah, queen e5 is the last big mistake. I mean, of course, she should have taken on c3 first, even though, I mean, it looks very bad with this bishop, looking at my pawn chain. But, you know, two pieces, maybe she can try to undermine this pawn chain, and I still need to use a lot of technique to show a lot of technique to be able to convert this position into something more than an advantage. In the game, she captured on a5, and well, that just leads to total disaster because I'm back to attacking the king. And even though my king looks a little bit weak, and she indeed can give a check, but a check is not a checkmate. She did give a check and one more check, but after king b1, suddenly checks are over, and her king is completely helpless. And that's how the game ended. That's how I won. So, as I said, it was a nice start. It's always nice to come to Monaco for 3 days to play Rapid and Blitz. I like Rapid and Blitz in general, and in January I like it as well. So 2025 started in Monaco. Well, I started in New York, then continued in Monaco. This year, 2026, also started in Monaco. I just got back from Monaco, but that's gonna be that's gonna be recap in 1 year. I will do it and we'll talk about it. Meanwhile, let's carry on and move on. So that was January. January was European Women's Rapid and Blitz. Let me see what I chose for you. Okay, so let's get that's the tree, the Christmas tree in New York, and then the medal. Oops, just the medal. Okay, come on, move. Okay. sorry, that's the medal. I look tired, right? I look tired. That's the bronze medal for Blitz. So I won in 2025. I won the bronze medal in the European Women's Blitz Championship. And you can see that I have a logo of my sponsor, Cité Gestion, a private bank, that I'm happy, I mean, I'm fortunate to have because they've been supporting me for the last 2 years, so 2025, and now they renewed their sponsorship for 2026. That, of course, helps a lot to be a professional chess player. Okay, what's next? Monaco. Here I'm unpacking a prize, beauty prize, for the game that led to some scandal, though. But okay, let me show you this game that the prize was awarded to. And what was happening in Monaco again? You see, January Monaco, February Monaco as well. In February, I played well, there the one of the legs of the women's Grand Prix took place in Monaco in February. So I played this 2024-2025 season. So I played one leg in Tbilisi in August 2024, and then 2 tournaments in 2025. One in February in Monaco, and I'm going to show you one of my games from there, which won a beauty prize. And then in May in Austria, the final leg took place. I will also show you this game, but a few months later. Okay, in Monaco, hopefully surprisingly to my opponents, but I started all my games with d4. I think I started all my white games with d4. That was the plan. Okay, I did, yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4. Yes, unfortunately also I I played all 3 legs of this Women Grand Prix series, starting with black, meaning that I had 5 black and 4 whites. Well, that's a pity in such strong close tournaments. Oops, let's back to Dinara. Okay, so that's the final position. But let's talk about the beginning. The beginning. D4. So that's the game against Tan Zhongyi. It was some kind of Grunfeld. D5. Probably because of the fact that Tan Zhongyi was surprised that I played D4. Usually I do start my games with E4. She decided to deviate from her main opening repertoire and surprise me with D5, but somehow it didn't work out very well. And okay, I opted for this H4 line. And I did get quite a good position because, well, because my opponent played bishop G4 here, which is not the best move. I believe B5 is the way to continue here for black. But after bishop G4, I gave a check. She decided to go back, which already indicates that something went wrong for black. I mean, it doesn't look very good to play back and forth. I captured the pawn on c4. Castle, and here I started doing I started taking very bad decisions. I don't know. I mean, I did take a lot of bad decisions throughout my classical even games in 2025, but okay, capturing a pawn is fine, although I could have played e5 first. And for some reason, I thought, I didn't see that after knight h5, g4 was capturing the knight, b5, I can simply capture on b5. I think I didn't see it. I did miss something very, very primitive in my calculation. I do remember that I didn't play e5 for some very strange reason. Because after e5, I mean, the knight is in danger, and the only way for black to balance is to play b5 and then play knight g4 and somehow try to hold there. But okay, queen takes c5 is okay, but here I had to, you know, I had to develop my pieces. And again, problems with developing pieces. So bishop e2 would be the most reasonable choice here. E takes d5, e takes d5, followed by short side castle. Yes, black has some compensation, but I have an extra pawn. And whether this compensation would worse this pawn, not so clear. But I calculated and calculated. I remember I spent so much time here. I like bishop g5 as well and h5. I was calculating all kind of moves. And at the end, I captured on a6. Okay, but here again, it would be nice to develop, right? Bishop e2 and castle. Sometimes chess is a very simple game. You just develop your pieces, you castle, and you put, like, you improve the position of your pieces to maximum, and then you deliver a final blow, something like this. And you cannot really attack with the king in the center. You should prepare your attack, right? If you throw your army forward without proper preparation, I mean, it might be costly. And in this game, like bishop e2 and castle, instead I play knight g5. You know, there is a rule, like don't move your developed pieces twice or like 3 times or several times, unless you really have a good reason. Here there is no good reason at all. But okay, I want to take the bishop. Okay, but why don't I take it then? So she plays knight c6, and for some reason I don't take the bishop. So, okay, if I said A, if I moved my knight, at least I have to take it. And then play bishop g5. I missed bishop g5, I think. I thought that it will be very dangerous, like bishop e3, knight g4, and I'm not developed. Surprise, surprise. But bishop g5 would, like, the position is still okay because I have this very nice idea, bishop c4, and like this fishing pole, right, idea. There is like check, and suddenly the h file is opened up and my rook starts playing, and there are many beautiful tactical ideas suddenly. And even though my king is in the center, somehow the attack works well. But again, if you like play like knight g5, you have to continue playing really well and precise. And I did not notice this nice idea of bishop g5 and bishop c4, like letting the bishop hang on g5, and I played bishop f4, but that's already a very bad sign, because after knight g4, like bishop d4 is coming. Actually, I remember here I spent almost all my time because the position suddenly looked so bad. I felt like resigning immediately. Like I didn't see for a very long time how to defend. But then I managed to find a way, so I played e5, sacrificing this pawn, and rook d1. And yeah, luckily for me, my opponent, okay, queen e8 is a strong move. Knight takes e6, and here she should have played rook c8. She had a very strong move, rook c8, intermediate move. And then if I play queen d6, she has this rook c6, and then she captures with the rook. And you see my king, well, luckily, I mean, after bishop e2, I'm not being checkmated immediately, but of course I'm in a very bad position. But luckily for me, like the second best option would be to take with the queen. And again, it's quite logical, right? You want to keep this file open because the king is stuck in the center, still in the center, and well, I still have to make 2 more moves to secure it. But for some reason, she decided to capture with the f pawn, and that like closed the e line, so it gave me some time. Bishop b5 seems to be an option here, but I played bishop to g3, and rook f5 here would have been like the best move for black. But she played rook c8, queen b5. Of course, I want to exchange queens, because exchanging queens here means less problems, less possible threats for my king. And it's quite like logical that my opponent decided to keep the queens on the board, but luckily somehow after queen e7, bishop e2, I'm able to complete the development. It's very weird because my opponent did see all the right ideas, but she somehow didn't choose the right moment to make those moves. Like here, rook f5. The move before, it would have been such a strong move, but here it just a waste of time. So queen a4, b5. Yeah, she started playing very aggressively, and I remember, yeah, I was very low on time already because I spent all my time after the bishop f4, knight g4, just trying to figure out a way to continue the game. And here suddenly she was like giving away all the pawns. I wasn't really understanding what was going on, but I was capturing them. Okay, knight b5, like it looks scary, but what to do, right? It's better to play with extra material than with no material. Queen c5, okay, she attacks the pawn on f2, but I can castle and protect it. And knight e3, my god, it looks very scary, but you don't resign immediately. I mean, you can even capture on e3. I mean, there are many ways to continue, but I think I found like a very good way. I played b4 and I played knight to d6. Again, it's not the only way. F takes e3 is totally okay, like queen takes a7. There are several ways, but I did find a very nice way. Knight d6, knight f1, knight c8, knight g3. Okay, that was clear that she would continue, playing all in, but yes, my intention was also to continue just capturing her pieces. Usually it's a kind of a bullet or blitz games that look like this, where your opponent, I mean, can, you know, start giving away pieces, but unfortunately, like in a classical game, it doesn't always work. So, and luckily for me, Okay, I repeated the moves because I was very low on time, and every time you make a move, you get an additional 30 seconds. And of course, my intention was to go to e1, knight f3, g takes f3, bishop c3, rook d2, a takes b6. Yeah, and here, for some reason, I had a very, very easy win. Like f takes g3, rook d5, of course. Otherwise, I would just have an extra queen for nothing. Queen a8, queen d5, and then getting into this pawn endgame. But I was in time trouble. And you know, when you're getting into a pawn endgame, you want to double check and make sure that you're like winning. And I was like 99% sure that I was winning because, well, like you get with the king to d4, you create a passer, and then it looks winning. But I didn't have enough time. So I decided to give some checks. Knight, queen e8, king g7. Again, f takes g3 would lead to winning endgame. Might have led something like this, again with the king on h5. But I had another idea. I started missing something. So I gave a check and I missed rook f7. I missed rook f7. Here, suddenly, queen takes f7 doesn't win anymore. Because, well, black doesn't have to take on d2. She can take on b4 first. So I had to take on e6, but that was not my intention when I was giving checks on e8 and e7 because, well, she still has so many pieces and there are 5 moves to make under time pressure. But okay, what to do? I did manage to make those moves without any serious problems. And we reach this endgame, which is winning for white, but it means that there is some work left. But surprisingly, it was pretty easy. So I was taking all the pawns, creating fast pawns, and my opponent kept on playing. Yeah, at some point I was surprised that she was not resigning, but thanks to her efforts mostly, I won this beauty prize. Because, okay, I improved my position to maximum, I created 2 passed pawns, and yeah, the only thing that is left is not to blunder a queen right here. And she kept on playing and playing and playing. And then here, okay, so I captured, she captured, and of course I had to promote into queen. And it's well, just 1-0. But my desire to play a beautiful move overtook was too strong, and I underpromoted the pawn. I said to myself, well, that's so nice to underpromote, right? Not only when you're solving problems, but also in a classical long game. And I underpromoted, but when I underpromoted, I forgot to calculate that my knight actually is in time to defend my pawns. And so I underpromoted, and then I said to myself, oh my god, I hope that I'm in time. I hope that it's not a draw. That was terrible. Of course, you should not do like that. You should just promote into a queen and just, you know. Ay. But okay, luckily for me, everything is fine. After king f5, I play knight d5. I protect my king, but of course you have to do it beforehand. And anyway, thanks to this under promotion, I got this beauty prize. But there was another very nice game played in Monaco by Katerina Lagno versus Elizabeth Betts, and well, maybe not everybody, but many players assumed that that was the game that was worth this prize, and you know, I was not the judge, not the arbiter to award this prize, and I felt a little bit sad about that. Anyway, let's move on. That was February. I did okay in Monaco. How many points did I get? Unfortunately, I lost the first one, so 1.5, 2.5, 3.5, 4.5. Yeah, I finished on 50%. I thought that I finished on +1. 1.5, 2.5, 3.5. Apparently 4.5. Anyway, 50% in March and in April. I wasn't playing a lot. I just played a few Bundesligas, like German Bundesliga, that I'm playing for Baden-Baden for a long time, and the Austrian Bundesliga that I played for the first time in my career. So let me show you some photos from my Bundesliga experience. Okay, just okay. Here we go. Some of the photos. That's from Munich in March. Yeah, I'm trying to explain something to Sarah Sadat. I'm playing white, and I will show you the games that I played there. So it's in March 15th. So let me show you the game. Played against the young Polish girl. Actually, they have many talented girls in Poland. So women's chess developed very well in this country. And yeah, I was playing with one of them. It was a French defense. And I opted for the advanced line with the close center, e5. And it's a long theoretical line. In November 2024, I played several games with this line in Calcutta, in Rapid and Blitz. And okay, knight a3, securing this center, protecting this pawn. It's all about the center here. So black is trying to put pressure on this pawn or attack the center by playing f6. Bishop e7, one of the possibilities, and king of one. It was a home preparation because in those games in India I castled, which was one of the main moves, but after analyzing those games I came to conclusions that actually leaving the rook on the h file can be helpful somewhere when I will start pushing the pawns. So I played this line, rook c8, and here I played rook b1, which is not precise. g3 would have been better, but okay, it's very complicated. Okay, am I live, guys? Am I still here with you? I got a notification that my OBS crashed and something happened. I didn't do anything, and apparently it seems that I am back, but I don't see my chat. Let me try to refresh my chat. Am I back? I am back. Okay, some kind of weird hiccup. I am back, and we are back to discussing this complicated line of the French Caro dash some defense. Yes, so I played g3 finally, preparing to play king g2, knight a5. She decided also quite a usual way for black to continue. Like her idea is to play bishop b5, but for some reason it doesn't work very well. Like bishop b5 is one of the main ideas here, but for some reason after king g2, bishop b5, I capture. Queen d3. Somehow black lost quite a lot of time, and putting the knight on a5 also doesn't help. Like maybe knight a7 with the same idea would be so much stronger. Because here with the knight on a5, it doesn't look good for black. Yeah, but this position is all about nuances, and sometimes it's very good for black, sometimes it's very good for white. And to explain why, you need years of experience. Queen to d3, a queen to d7, h4, like getting ready in case black decides to castle I will have g4 and this knight will be in trouble. Well, actually, I'm threatening to play g4 now. That's why my opponent played h5, but h5 weakens the black square. That's exactly where my bishop goes. Bishop g5, knight c4. Okay, I started with b3, although I could have captured on e7 first, b3, rook c1, and somehow, yeah, my opponent was very afraid to castle. It's quite reasonable. It's a reasonable fear, but if not, like if she plays, she did play bishop f8, but if you play with the pieces so, disconnected, that it's not surprising. It's not a surprise that you will end up in big trouble. So little by little, I managed to exchange this bishop. Somehow with this exchange, those black squares, they really become even weaker. Queen d2, okay, some maneuvers, but thanks to the fact that, again, those pawns are quite weak and the rooks are not connected, it's so easy for me to play and to put pressure. So now this knight is hanging and captured the pawn. Because knight e5, I did calculate something. Yeah, I decided to sacrifice an exchange. Yes, that was a nice one because, again, after rook c7, she's not able to play king g7. Her knight is hanging, and I have all the, a lot of tactical ideas in the air. Rook h7, she tried to protect the f7 pawn, a4, so pushed the queen back, and then was getting ready to use this f6 square. And black's position is completely hopeless, and there are many ways I can win. Okay, I found this nice win. After queen e6, there is queen d8 and checkmate in 5 moves. So yeah, that's quite a nice win in the French defense. Sometimes it happens that black look completely hopeless, but yeah, that's just due to the fact that they did play the correct plan, but with incorrect pieces placement. So a6, knight a7, bishop b5 would give probably an equal play, while a6, knight a5, bishop b5, thanks to the fact that the knight was completely out of play, it gave me such a huge advantage with very easy moves. So that was my victory in the March Bundesliga in Germany. And then, yeah, I won also a few games in Austria. Let me show you my teammates. So that was, okay, some photos. Oops. Okay. Where's my OBS studio? I need to, yeah, to adjust photos. That's why I'm taking some time. I don't know how to do it properly. So that's my teammates from Austria. We were fighting for gold, but lost the crucial match to another team and took silver in the Austrian Bundesliga. So attempt number 2 will be this year as well. So what's the next? And the next, yeah, that's I met Tanya Sadjev in April in Paris. Yeah, Paris is a nice city. Sometimes you meet people unexpectedly. They did comment. There was a freestyle, I think, the freestyle event in Paris, and somehow we happened to meet. Then there was 18th birthday of my daughter, so I flew to Miami to celebrate it. It's a big day for me, for her, and yeah, time flies. That's terrible. I couldn't. I mean, I'm still in awe. Just I don't accept the fact that she's already 18. I mean, she was just born. Where did the time go? Huh? Do you remember our first, like one of the first streams that I did? She was always there in the background singing. Yeah, but then she refused to sing because she got older, and but that's sweet. Sometimes I do watch those short videos of her being so small. Okay. Anyway, April, after Miami, I flew back to Germany. Again, yeah, sorry. Again, need to adjust. So you will see me. Then I will adjust the photo because then we're kind of all my team are cut in half. The last weekend we were not playing for gold. We did misplay at the beginning of the season, but nevertheless we had a great time, and it's a nice team, and it's nice to have those weekends. I mean, sometimes they're cruel because you have to play at 9 a.m. on Sundays, which is terrible. But you also have a great time with your teammates, weekends, and then that was the end of May. And then there was, the Grand Prix, the final Grand Prix in Austria, where I did play a few good games, but also I collapsed in some of the games where I shouldn't have collapsed. I mean, I had very good positions, but I blundered several times terribly, and that's a pity because in the games that I won, otherwise I played very well, but because of those terrible blunders, yeah, what to do? Because of those terrible blunders, I didn't score very well. Yes, 9 a.m. games they hurt a lot. Let me show you the game against Vaishali that I won in this Grand Prix. It was a nice game. Once again, I started the game with the first d4. Not a very usual way for me to start, but okay, when you're playing chess for so many years, sometimes you want to experiment. You want to play something new, just it gives you motivation to study and to play. Anyway, d4 knight f6, it was a Nimzo Indian, and she did surprise me with a rare setup, rook e8, knight f3 I played, although maybe knight e2 here is a little bit better, d6, so black's idea is just to prepare e5, and this bishop will be given for this knight. Still, I think I had to castle, but I decided to clarify black's intention. e5, and I captured. And then, okay, e4 is threatening, so I went away to c2. I have a pair of two bishops, but there's still, like, you cannot feel the power of those two bishops yet. I will still need to work a lot. Knight c6, castled. At least I castled. e4, knight to d2. Yes, I put some pressure on the e4 pawn, not letting black play knight e5. And my idea is b3, bishop b2, and trying to get use of this bishop's pair. a5, b3, bishop f5, bishop b2. And yes, somehow, even though it started very slowly, but my position was getting better. So queen e7. Probably I had to play a3 here and then c5 and preparing b4. That would have been the right plan. Instead, I decided to play knight f1 first, h3, h4, and then I started moving the pawns, but it gave black some time to, well, to put the pawn on h4 and somehow to create some pressure, right? So her idea might be transferring her pieces closer to my king, and well, with the pawn on e4, it might be a little bit annoying. But nevertheless, I played b4, queen e6. I remember she was taking a lot of time on her each move, and I played rook to d4 here. And she was already very low on time, although it's move 20. And she decided not to go to this sacrifice, although she should have. I calculated this line and I thought that I would have capture and then knight h2 and then this beautiful rook g4 move. But apparently she has enough compensation for the pawn. So the line goes something like this, and then she can play rook d8 and then rook d2. Like, don't ask me why, right? It's something like this. She's getting back the sacrificed piece, and yeah, it's me who needs to struggle to equalize. So that was the key moment of the game. That's what she had to play, because surprisingly, after rook d4, when she didn't play knight f3, that was the last moment actually for her to do so, because then I played knight to d2, even though the rook is standing strangely on d4, but at least it protects the fourth rank, and my knight here is protecting the f3 square, and also I put pressure on e4, and the position is getting better. Probably she had to try to disturb the rook somehow, because after rook a to d8, yeah, for some reason I didn't capture on a5. I should have captured 3 pawns, you know. I played rook e1, which is a good move, but b takes a5 would have been stronger. Here she insisted on me taking the pawn, which I agreed happily, and I played rook e4, which is a very nice way to continue. Yeah, sacrificed an exchange, but now my bishops are opened up, and oops, well, not quite like that. The knight is heading to d6, and I'm ready to capture on f6 if needed, and black would need here to just to give away this exchange, but then I will end up with some extra material, and I won quite easily. Yes, she was in a big time trouble, and here she just resigned. Yeah, 3 pawns are not free for one of the side. So very nice, like game, and a lot of interesting moments stayed like behind the moves that actually happened in the game. So of course she had to play knight to f3, and that would have led to a very interesting and complicated battle. When she missed her chance, I was giving this precious time to I was giving this precious time to stabilize the position, to play knight to d2. Okay, public chat is demanding a break. Let's do so. Let's go on a short break and get back in a few minutes to continue. We are right now in May 2025, so quite a few months still to go. And battle break, definitely let's do it after my recap. I want to finish with this recap before proceeding to more more events in 2026. Okay guys, so just a short break and I'll be back soon. Hopefully I'll see you there. Okay, I'm back. I hope that you are back too. You lost 100 points in Blitz. I also lost about 100 points in Blitz. Maybe not 100, but no, I just had a salad. I bought a salad this afternoon. Didn't have a chance to eat it, and yeah, no chocolate at 9 p.m. Huh? Anyway, let's get going. So where were we? We were in May, in Austria at the last Grand Prix leg, where I did play a few decent games, but too many blunders. Too many blunders. Let's get going. What was after Austria? Aha. That was my street inauguration. You can see me with the mayor of Agnières-sur-Seine here, which is the city, well, just next to Paris. And the mayor, Manuel Aeschlimann, decided to create like the whole quartier, the whole block dedicated to chess in this city. And well, they have a chess team, very strong chess team, and they're doing a lot to promote chess. And they're also naming streets under, well, surprisingly, like dedicated to players who are still alive. Which brings some questions and some responsibilities. But one way or another, you can see me with the mayor on the inauguration, official inauguration of the street, which happened, it was in May, I believe, May 20th, 2025. So there is Rue Alexandra Kosteniuk in Agnières-sur-Seine. So, well, yeah, it is now, they spelled it in the French like way, which is a little bit more complicated, but I think now they change it to like the official name spelling, IUK at the end. So if you are in Paris, you can go to Agnières-sur-Seine and visit my street, which is, well, quite of course, well, something special. I mean, I don't think there are many streets in the world named after chess players, and of course I'm quite touched by the attention and giving to my person, and probably I don't realize, but anyway, now I know that when I go away from this world, yeah, there will be a street named after me. So that was May 20th. I had quite a month. So after this lack of Grand Prix, the last one, I had the inauguration of the street named after myself, and then I had a conference in French that you can watch. That was a very special experience. I did accepted to push myself in terms of my French, because it's stuck on the same, it's been on the same level for many years. I'm just not progressing. Well, I'm not talking French, and when I was invited to talk in French, to give a conference in French, you can watch it on YouTube. The subject of the conference was, does playing chess make us smarter? Quite an interesting topic. You can see me with the professor of psychology, the lady on my right, and journalist from the magazine 24 hours, 24 heures. And voila, there are many French speaking people in my chat right now, because yeah, I live in France. I've been living in France like officially for the last 4 years, and unfortunately my French is it's not progressing well. Anyway, the same with chess. You have to work a lot, and well, not really a lot, but every day consistently, and do certain things that you're not very comfortable of doing. But that was a very nice conference. So I did enjoy my time in Lausanne. The atmosphere was great. The people were very friendly, despite my attempts to answer certain questions in French that I failed. I did enjoy the event a lot. Yeah, but at least probably your grammar is good. Like, why it's good to start earlier learning languages, but because certain things you just know automatically. Well, when you start studying it quite late, like later than young years in your life, then you need a lot of efforts and discipline and to and it's almost impossible to work it in perfection. Anyway, so May was a month of different events, and not only chess, playing chess events. And let's move on to June. I think it's time. Yes, it is. In the end of May, beginning of June, I took part in another tournament in Austria. Quite a few trips to Austria. The Grand Prix chess tournament, but not the women's Grand Prix, FIDE Grand Prix that I just played, but the Grand Prix, which is in 4 days you play 4 tournaments, like Rapid, Blitz, and then Team Rapid and Team Blitz. And you can see me with my teammates. We did manage to win the Austrian women's Blitz champion title. I believe it was Blitz or maybe Rapid. I did. I remember that the day before we missed the title and we took just silver because we lost the last round, the last match to a very strong team. And then the next day we got a little bit lucky with pairings and we won it. So yeah, that was a nice event, but it cost me a few rating points. Quite a lot of games, but definitely a great fun, and I'm looking for it. I hope so much that this Grand Prix tournament won't clash with any other tournaments for me in 2026, and I will be able to take part in it as well. Then there was another very interesting tournament, which I'm not showing a lot of games from. That's the FIDE World Team Rapid and Blitz. I did play a lot of Rapid and Blitz in 2025. You can see we have quite a team, and that's already the third time I'm playing for this WR chess team. It's Rapid and Blitz, and we won the Blitz Cup. Here we are, yeah, on the photo with the cup. I did not do very well in Rapid, like I didn't let my team down. I made all my games that I played draws. I did only draws in Rapid, but in Blitz I won almost everything. Like I did 2 last games I made. I played in draw, but other than that, I won quite a lot of games and won a medal on my board. And yeah, that's a nice photo. I like it. Anyway, after this London, I played the French women's French team championship. That's called Top 12 Féminin. for the Monaco team. Last year I played for the Monaco team. Let me try to... Okay, here we are. That's how we played in Poitiers. The finals, the semifinals and the finals. The matches were very tense and we required tie breaks in both of the matches. I'll show you one of the classical games that I won, and that helped us proceed to the tie breaks that we eventually won. It was a very even game against Diamante Daulite. I was playing white, so some Rassalima line with e5, which can lead to very long and complicated theory in case white plays d4. But I played c3, and after a6, yeah, my opponent was playing very fast, so I assume it was all theory. I played a4, rook b8, and here I played queen e2, which doesn't seem to be the most precise way. I played queen e2, and then I played d4. Also d4 first, I mean, immediately with the queen on d1 would be a little bit more logical, but for some reason I decided to put my queen on e2 first. e5, so I did sacrifice a pawn. In order to, well, to attack black's pieces, and most importantly to open up my own pieces, my bishops, because you can see that my bishops are standing beautifully, and I did hope that it will give me enough compensation, and if black castles, they might end up in trouble. Bishop e7. Here I played rook d1. Again, maybe it's not mathematically correct, like the engine suggests capturing on b5, playing knight a3, threatening to take on b5, and if queen b6, protecting the pawn, then playing h4, and something like this. I was calculating all the lines with h4 during the game, but it was not that like obvious to me that sacrificing one more pawn would like be enough. So I decided, yeah, just to play rook d1 first. Oops. And my opponent played queen c7, and I did. Okay, I took on d4, she captured on e5, but surprisingly, yeah, after this exchange, even though I'm a pawn down for the moment, but I did get quite a good compensation. I mean, usually, if you're up in material, you can often hear that exchanging queens might be a good idea, because it eliminates your opponent's attacking chances and it brings you to the final stage of the game, the end game, where extra pawns are very important. And initiative, it's harder to use it. But nevertheless, yeah, here somehow my initiative got stronger with the queen's exchange. So knight f5, attacking the pawn on g7, castle, capturing, and yeah, if she captures with the pawn, then I can capture the bishop, play bishop f4, and you see that there are some tactical motives still. And without the queen, it's actually easier to attack all those weaknesses here. She captured with the rook, but then, okay, knight c3, I develop my knight, I capture on e7, b3 is a good move. It's a good move. I am putting this pawn onto the protected square because I want to develop the bishop and I want this pawn not to hang. And also I'm opening up this diagonal, so I'm not quite sure yet where I'm going to develop this bishop. I can play bishop a3 or bishop f4. Quite a nice move. Knight 7 to c6, knight d5. So like the tension is raising, and bishop a3 is coming up. Bishop a3. f4, I did play very well here. I mean, just sometimes to play well doesn't mean to sacrifice everything. It just means like finding ways to put every single of your piece onto good squares. Like if you manage to do so, somehow your position is getting better usually. And in this particular game, with like already quite a few moves in a row, I was building up this pressure. I was just improving my pieces. I was finding good places for my pieces, playing a pawn down, but it was enough for compensation. So okay, rook c1, rook d2. You see that it's a positional sacrifice. Knight a5, bishop b4, knight c6. Okay, we repeated the moves, but sometimes when you play a team event, it really matters how your team is doing. And my team, well, it seemed that I need to win because Alina Kashlinskaya was playing on the second board and she was struggling against Yulia Smak. So that means that she might, well, that meant that she might lose and we needed to win somewhere else. And I had more chances. So I played on like rook b1, a little bit weird, but that was the only way to continue playing. I mean, my goal is to win this pawn back, and I still have a pair of two bishops, so I can play on. We were both in time trouble, and you see that I managed to win back the pawn. And now, so some more moves, some more maneuvers, some more attempts to improve pieces. It's an endgame already, a few moves till the time control. Yeah, and suddenly one inaccuracy, like, and it almost cost black a game. Like, okay, she's already under pressure. I still have this pair of bishops, and this is a weakness. The rook can be easily attacked. After 97, suddenly she is not protecting the e5 square anymore, and my bishops are just destroying the position. Like bishop e5, bishop e4, forcing the rook to go away from the c file, getting with my own rook to the c file. Knight d8. Yeah, because I was threatening to capture on c8 and to capture on b7. Knight, bishop d5, nice tactical way. And yeah, suddenly the position is lost. So here, some exchanges, and rook d6, king d4, and it's me already who has an extra pawn, and my pieces are so centralized that it's quite easy to convert it into a full point, despite the famous saying that all rook endgames are drawn. Well, this one is an exception. So I captured rook a2. I sacrificed the pawn on e5 in order to secure the second rank and the g2 and h2 pawns, because okay, my b pawn will get promoted. Okay, a few checks, played, and then rook, yeah, king a7, rook a2, king a7 was also possible. Anyway, very nice game, quite an even game, quite a shaky beginning because, well, I didn't do my homework very well. Apparently, I didn't know the opening, but I created this pawn sacrifice, and it's a positional sacrifice. And for many moves, I played with a pawn down, but I was finding ways each move to improve my position, my pieces, and little by little, it paid off. So yeah, I do enjoy such such positional games because even though they are not very bright and but it means that like sometimes it requires even more work than crazy complicated tactical battles. Anyway, so that's June, and we won the French championship, women's French championship, the Monaco team, because we won the semi-final match, a very tense match on tiebreak. So we needed, after this game, I played another game, and my whole team played another like mini match in Blitz. And then in the finals as well. In the finals, I made a draw. And we also made a draw in the match and had to play another blitz tiebreak. And even though I didn't play very well, neither in the classical nor in blitz in the final, I did 2 draws, but the team prevailed, which is the most important thing. And we won. And let's get and why do I jump? Wait. Why is it August? I wanted to show you a photo from Batumi first. So there was then Batumi. Why it's not here? Where is it? Because I believe after that, okay, let me double check. After that, so that was June 29th. And after that, yeah, I went to Batumi to play the World Cup. And that's one of the key moments of this World Cup. I played 3 very tense matches, starting with the match of the second round. Because of my rating, I was starting from the second round. I was playing against Raut Padmini, a very tense match. So I did get some chances with white pieces, but she defended well. And she made a very fast draw in the second game, so we played tiebreak. And in the 5th game of the match, I lost with black pieces. I overpushed with black pieces, and in the 6th game, I had to win. And I was completely lost. But she misplayed and lost the game. It was a dramatic game. And then in the 7th game, I managed to win with white. And in the 8th game, I managed to make a draw. So I required 8 game to go on to the 3rd round. And then in the 3rd round, I played against a young player from Georgia, Mary Arabidze. And in the photo, you see me in the 4th round match. So 1/8. Yeah, I think 1 or quarters already. No, 1/8 of the finals. Yeah, against Hampi Konaru. And I played well. I mean, I pushed with white, had troubles with black, but managed to survive, and even had like good chances. She had to defend. I had good chances in the second classical game with black. And then you see this photo is from the 3rd game, like the first rapid game, which I had an extra piece. I had an extra piece, a huge time advantage, and I lost it. That was terrible. But anyway, I wanted to share with you a moment, like a very beautiful moment, from the second classical game against Mary Arabidze. Don't tell me I didn't. No. Wait. Why is... I didn't. Yeah. I didn't download it. Let me try to find... I uploaded another game. So let me try to find it in the games, in the tournaments. Just a nice... people are still solving those puzzles. They are still... FIDE Women's World Cup. Okay. World Cup. Come on. Past events. Find me a World Cup. I found it. So let me find myself there. So, and just show you this incredibly beautiful moment of the second classical game. No, what that? Why am I keep... Okay, that was the first classical games. That's why in my mind, for some reason, yeah. For some reason, it it stays. How do I switch it off? Here we go. Yes. Okay, so let me try to. Yes, 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 yes. I need to adjust a little bit the board because I found the position online. I uploaded the wrong one because yeah, for some reason I believe that it's a second classical game, but in fact it was the first one, and I missed. And I was playing black. Yeah. Okay, that's the position. That's the position. So we are very deep in the endgame. I am playing black, so that's the h8 square. That's the e4 pawn. Yes, exactly, flyer. And you see that I had only 5 minutes, well, 6 minutes to go, and I was so sure that it's a draw already, that I misplayed. That sometimes when you are not looking for ways to win, you missed those nice moves. You missed those nice moves, and I could have scored a very nice study-like win. I played in the game, I played king f5. And then after bishop e3, I just give a perpetual. But instead, I could have won very beautifully by playing rook h8. And okay, when you know that it's black to move, and black is supposed to win, of course, this kind of moves you almost, see instantly if you have experience of solving studies and yeah, so king h8, king f7. That's the reason. That's the reason, and then the knight just comes to g6, and it's checkmate. White cannot stop the knight from getting to g6. Well, because, okay, I still have this pawn, right, alive. So it will distract the bishop. And, yeah. Thanks to the fact that this bishop is still alive, white is not stalemated. And that means checkmate is coming. That's a beautiful one. And it was such a pity that I missed it. And unfortunately for white, I mean, of course, she doesn't have to take. She can, like, wait with the bishop, like something like this. But then I will come with my knight. I will force her to take the pawn. And then when I play king f7 and still create this checkmating cage. And yeah, and she saw it. Yeah, she saw it during the game, and she said, well, suddenly I saw it, but there was nothing I could do. So she played, and she just prayed that I would not see it. And yeah, unfortunately. Unfortunately, I didn't see it. And I managed to win. I managed to win against her in the second rapid game of the tiebreak. It was quite a complicated game, so I will not like. Oof, I have to adjust as well. That is Canero, that is me. Hi, give me the board. Okay, I'm getting tired, and we are only in July, huh? Okay, here we go. Here we go. Let me just adjust and make it bigger. Here we go. So that's yeah, the end of the second classical game, like the decisive game. I don't know what's going on the board. So some crazy stuff. She played queen c2 and blundered knight f2. For some reason, I decided not to take on f2. I played rook a3. Beautiful move, right? Saw rook a3 and probably didn't look for any other moves. But unfortunately, after rook a3, she has enough compensation for the queen, thanks to this advanced pawn. And she had to protect it. But instead, she captured on c4, and immediately all my pieces went to checkmate her king. And okay, I did repeat the moves just to have a few extra seconds. And then I had enough time to calculate checkmating sequence of moves. Yep. And then checkmate. That's how this match was won. And then yeah, I went on to play against Conero, and it was heartbreaking end of the World Cup because, well, I did have great chances. I mean, as I said, she was pushing hard in the second classical game, but misplayed, and I already had great chances. She survived like miraculously in the second classical game, and then in the first rapid game, completely winning. Completely winning, but what to do? Anyway, let's get going. I got eliminated, but Canero went on and played the final against her compatriot Divya Desmukh, lost the final, but qualified for the candidates. So she's going to play in this year candidates in April, and I will be watching it live, which is not very bad to watch a chess tournament, right? Okay, so let's get going. So it was July, and let's see what I chose for. Oh, yeah. Then you ask me for a photo with my daughter. Here it comes. My daughter. She started college. She started university. She started, and here I am in the move-in day. So I flew to US to help her with her move-in. And just before the Grand Swiss, that was quite a voyage. Because, well, I played a few games in the Swiss League in Zurich. Then I went to Istanbul, Boston, and yeah. And, well, she's studying. First semester is over. And then, yeah, you see that she's taller than me. And then, yes, then I went to play in Samarkand, Grand Swiss. Here we go. Make me smaller. Make me smaller. And Samarkand, well, I didn't do very well, but I did okay. Like, knowing how those tournaments can go, I cannot complain a lot. Like, I didn't have enough power at certain moments to score more, to... I lost to Fataliva with white pieces, and I didn't have chances to fight for higher places. I scored +2, I think, at the end. So after -2 at some point in like 2 years ago, that was okay. And let's see a game of mine, a victory of mine against a young Chinese girl. Well, she was very creative. So she opted for bishop g5. I played d5, e3, some move order to invite black for crazy complications after c5, d takes c5, but okay, I didn't feel like those complications, so I played c6, which is a normal move, c3, then bishop f5, also quite a normal move. After the game, I found a game of my husband many years ago that he played the same way, but up to this moment, I believe, because at this point, okay, my husband, I think he just, you know, developed the pieces. He played e6 in 2025 in the European Championship. He played e6 and then bishop e7 and then no, not quite. Bishop e6, bishop d6 he played, but he did push this bishop. Anyway, I started pushing this bishop immediately without e6. I thought that e6 is just a waste of time. So I attacked the bishop, again, without developing pieces. Rook g8. Just don't ask. It's don't do that. I mean, don't try to do the same. You should not. You should develop your pieces. You should play e6 and then, yeah, again. 95, h5, so we started some complications. Exactly why to do e6, it's boring. So g takes h4, bishop takes h4. I had no clue about what's going on during the game. I remember that I was very sad at myself at some point, like, okay, 94, bishop e4, trying to get to this e5 pawn, bishop h6, developing the way I can, queen b6, 92, yeah, and here I captured on e5, and like, of course she captured on e4, I captured on e4, and I said to myself, what have I done? Like, why did I give away this light squared bishop? Because that was the key piece of the position. Why did I capture this pawn on e5 but gave away this? I was so unhappy about my decision, and I thought that I had to play bishop g6, and then like little by little attack this pawn and play on. But yeah, at some point I was so unhappy about, like, sometimes you take a decision and then you start regretting it immediately. It happens on the board. Okay, she captured, my opponent captured, bishop g3. Well, what can you do? Knight to d7. At least I'm threatening to take on e3. So, I mean, if she castles, then I can capture and capture on e3. Oi, sorry, my mouse is not working properly here. So I capture on e3, and it's okay. Just because of this fact, my position is still holding, because otherwise it would have been a complete disaster. That's why my opponent played rook h3, trying to protect the bishop and prepare alongside castle, knight f6. But here she had to take on b6 and take on h5 with approximately equal position. But for some reason she forgot or miscalculated that after alongside castle, I still can take on e3. And surprisingly, white is not losing here, but she was so shocked when this move happened that she didn't even dare to calculate f takes e3. And she played king b1, but it leads to lost position. Actually, she had to take, but here, okay, she had to find this beautiful bishop h5, knight takes h5, queen takes b7. And yeah, even though she's a knight down, her position holds because of this queen's transfer to h6, and I cannot play knight g7 because of queen h8 checkmate. So I have to give away the knight, and the position is equal. So it was still possible to make a draw, to survive, but again, she was so shocked because she thought that she's losing completely after queen takes e3, and instead she played king b1, but here, yes, she is losing. So queen, bishop b6, and then I played well. So rook d8, rook d2, and yes, the e-pawn decided the game. It went on and on and on and couldn't be stopped. f5 is a nice move though. Here, f5, because it's not the only way, but it's nice because white is, it's a good demonstration of the topics that when your opponent makes a move, you should always ask a question, what is her idea or his idea, and then you can see that rook e4 is the idea after e2, and then you play f5 and stop this idea, and the pawn is just marching on. A nice game, although again too creative and complicated, but luckily for me it all worked pretty well in my favor. But again, like the Grand Swiss went okay, but not more than that. It was a complicated tournament, very long and difficult, and I was happy to finish the way I finished. And then came October. In October, I played two tournaments. So, like 2 weeks after the Grand Swiss, I already started the European Team Championship for the Switzerland team, for the Swiss team. And I played very well. Like, maybe not very, very well, but I scored quite a lot of points and I won a medal on my board. Let's see. That's a game, for example, with Olga Badelka. Quite a complicated game. It started calmly, but then I built a stone wall, and my opponent was not really ready for that. And I had a very nice plan prepared at home with transferring my knight to f7, not to f6, but f7. Why? Well, just to get ready to start a very strong attack in case white castles short side. So like here, if white castles to g1 as usual, then I can play g5 and g4 and very aggressive. Suddenly the position becomes very, very complicated. h3, and that's why I decided to wait and say to myself that if I castle, then white will try to start the attack on the on the king side, and I got scared. Okay, short side castle was still possible because, well, g4 is not the end of the world. I can sacrifice this pawn, actually, and the computer says that I'm doing fine. Well, it was difficult to understand during the game, so I decided to stop this g4 idea and not castle immediately. So we both like played a few moves before white decided to castle. And here, well, we made a few inaccuracies. Um, I wanted to play e4, e5 here a lot, but I didn't realize that after bishop f5, e4, which I saw, f3, I didn't see how to proceed here. And actually, I have knight takes c5. And the idea is that after bishop c8, I have knight d3, and then I capture on c8. And if she captures with her pawn, then I take on f5. Oops, sorry, this mouse is terrible. And I'm protecting the pawn on e4. That would have been very strong, like very nice positional idea. e5, e4, threatening to play knight c5. And if she captures on d7, I'm in time. He plays e takes f3. I would even think about bishop f5, but apparently e takes f3 is also very strong, and then castle. And I have a pair of two bishops that gives me compensation. But unfortunately for myself, I didn't manage to find it. I castled, but that white had to play f4 to stop it. And then she gets good chances for her attack on the king side, and even though I will also be attacking on the queen side, but it seems that white has more chances. So f4 would have been very strong. Instead, she played king b1, allowing, once again, to play e5, and that was the way to proceed, with the idea after f3 to play knight h6. And somehow it's working out very well. I'm able not to lose this center. But, as I already mentioned, I thought that e5 is not possible due to bishop f5 and f3. So I was just preparing my game on the queen side. f4 again is the right way. e5 again is the right way, but we were both, neglecting those strong ideas. b6, we were following our own plans. Unfortunately, I did miss something. Yeah, here knight g6, I believe, or what was... Wait, knight knight g6. No, knight g6, queen f6. Rook e8, g4. H takes, yes, knight g6 here. So knight f6 I played, but that's a mistake because knight g6 is very strong. And I have to move my... Well, somehow knight g6 and g4 is just way too strong. But she played g4, and even though like the computer likes white's position a lot, but the computer is very strong. It plays chess very well, and it sees that like white can just play king a2, just ignore the fact that I'm getting to b3 because of the fact that in this line, yes, weird line, after rook takes b3, this pawn is not the end of the world for white, while the pawn on g7 is, I mean, and white's attack is so much stronger than black's attack. But it's very hard to understand that in a practical game, like to just give up this b3 pawn and realize that white will be first. So yeah, king a2 was the way to proceed, and then doubling the rooks and getting to g7 and neglecting the fact that b3 pawn will be lost. But well, we're human beings, and Olga got scared that I will exchange this knight and will get to b3 pawn, and she captured on e4. And it's a huge mistake because after capturing on e4, f takes e4, she's not able to open up the g file. And I still have a plan of doubling up the rooks and regrouping my bishop, c8, a6, d3, and yeah, putting some pressure on the king side. f5 is a big mistake because it's a tactical blunder. So my bishop doesn't only comes to this diagonal and then to d3 with a check, but actually due to the fact that the rook is hanging, the exchange is getting lost, and I won the exchange, and white is not getting enough compensation. I managed to play well, knight to find this knight c4, very nice tactical blow, and despite all the attempts and efforts to complicate, I just grabbed all the material, and yeah, it was not enough for a perpetual check. So yeah, in Batumi during the European Team Championship, I played a very good tournament, won many games, many rating points. Then I went on to Rhodes, where, well, I played decently. Yeah, I will just show you the end of one of my games that cost me whatever I had left of the energy and power. And okay, let me just show you myself with a medal from Batumi, playing for the Swiss national team. And then what else? Yeah, the time in Rhodes, I had 3 days in between 2 tournaments. Batumi, the European Team Championship in Batumi and European Club Cup in Rhodes, and well, I had a wonderful time in Rhodes, but it was not enough to recover completely, and I was not able to play with the same amount of energy throughout the whole event in the Euro Cup. Okay, let me show you just the endgame, because it was a long and complicated game. I played well, but that's what happened. Okay, so I played well. I played white. I won a piece. But suddenly I misplayed and did end up in a winning position, but I had no idea that this position is winning. Like, without the rooks on the board, it's a theoretical draw. But I said to myself, I was saying to myself during the games that if it would be a draw with the rooks on the board, I would have known most likely about this chance. And actually, it is a lost position, but it's not that easy technically. So, okay, why? Because when, okay, little by little, when I win those 2 pawns, A and G pawns, Black's king is often in stalemate. So there are some stalemating ideas, and in order to convert it into like full point, well, some accuracy is required. And okay, I tried not to take this pawn on a3, but Black forced me to take it. And of course, if you are watching this game with a computer, you see checkmate in 14. Oh, how easy, you say to yourself. But when you're playing a practical game and it's the first time ever you see this kind of endgame and you have no clue and you're already tired and you start like wondering whether it's a win or it's a draw. There are several ways to win, but okay, I was doing fine. So, like, the most important thing is not to blunder a stalemate. So, you need to bring your pieces forward to create a checkmate threat. So, if the bishop is on e6 and the king is on g6, then there is this rook h7 threat. And okay, I moved the pieces, I shuffled the pieces back and forth, but I was like getting there, right? So, like, my intention is somehow to play bishop e6, king g6, and rook h7. But the problem is that Black didn't, they were not like letting me do what I wanted. So I was moving and moving and moving. But then I managed to find a way to improve my position, which is to play bishop to f7. That's the strongest move. So now, yeah. So if the rook goes away, oops, sorry, my mouse, because I used the best mouse for this Puzzle Rush Championship earlier. So if the rook goes away, my idea is to play king g8. And now after rook b6, I play bishop e6. And suddenly I'm threatening to play rook h7. Checkmate. And that's it. Like, that's the position to hold in your head, preferably to know. Because if you know this position, you kind of automatically get it. And if the rook goes, like, if Black gets back to f8, that's one more thing to remember. You just make a waiting move. That's important. And it has to go back from the f file. So rook f7 doesn't work because of any moves, right? There's always g8 or h7. And if it goes away somewhere, then this bishop e6, rook h7. Yeah, rook d7, last attempt, but okay. You can take with the bishop or you can give a checkmate. Up to you. And so I found it. But the problem was that I had only a few minutes left. And I was very tired. I was like very tired. And like, but when you play good moves, usually you feel it. And I was like seeing already this idea of rook b8 and king g6. But suddenly my opponent plays king h7. And somehow I freeze completely. Like I look at the position, but okay, but it was like, it was so winning that how come I'm not winning here? And yeah, it's very easily winning. But again, all you need to do is just one waiting move. Any rook d7, rook c7, rook b7, rook a7, any waiting move. Just one move, and we're back to the situation that if the rook goes away, bishop e6, king g6. If the king goes to h8 again, king g6, and then bishop e6 and rook h7. That's it. But I was so disappointed that it's not winning and so tired that I kind of, well, emotionally, I've been having troubles, I must say, to cope with my emotions, like in 2025 and well, like certain events in the last almost 4 years hurt me just too much. And yeah, I've been not dealing with certain emotions very well. And when you're playing chess, you need to have a cool head and like totally composed, totally calm, totally under control. I'm a mess sometimes. And when I'm tired, I'm even messier. So here I kind of like all my emotions, I couldn't, held them properly and control them properly. And I played king f6, rook b8. Okay, I could have played king g5 and get back. But here I said to myself, okay, doesn't matter, I will win this Philidor position. That is getting here after bishop d5, king takes h6. We do have the Philidor position, the famous Philidor position. I will not dive into like theoretical part of it. I need to record. I don't even remember if I've recorded a separate video on how to win a Philidor position. But I was so certain of myself that I will do it, that my hand, will do it, that like when my hand was not doing it, I panicked, and like all the knowledge that kind of stayed in my head somewhere disappeared, and like the seconds were getting away, and I was like, it was a complete meltdown. And I was moving my pieces back and forth, like I could not remember thing. Although that's the beginning of the end. Like if you know it, that's the classical Philidor position. How to win it? So you play rook g1, rook b5 is the most stubborn way, but you make a waiting move. Waiting moves are important, and the rook is forced to go to less unfortunate position, either to the A file or to the C file or the first or third rank if the position is rotated a little bit. So rook A5 is like the most stubborn way. Then you give a check. Oh, no. You transfer your rook to G8. Rook A7. You play bishop C8. That's why it's important to push this rook to first from the second rank, from the B file to the A file. And okay, there are two ways for black. Either to play king h7, but then, yeah, white is winning like this. Or rook c7, but then the rook is on the third rank or on the c file. And then, like, you give a check, which is very important to remember, with the rook on the c file. And then somehow this position is winning. It's a little bit different than the classical Philidor position because the king is on the sixth rank. And usually, like, when you study endgame books, it's closer to the center. But anyhow, that's how it's won. You need to play rook g1, you need to make a waiting move, you need to use the fact that the rook is like moved to less unfortunate position, and then little by little create the checkmating threat. I completely forgot everything because it needs to be automatic. Like that's why you need that your hand does this, because when you're playing already for 6 hours, your just head stops working, functioning, and if you don't know it by heart, it's very hard to find it in a practical game. Even like the greatest players misplayed this position. So I was completely like moving my rook around, and I remember here at some point, okay, moving, and here the key defense idea is that if white plays bishop f5, there is rook g6, and it's a draw. So, okay, I saw this bishop f5, rook g6, so I gave a check, I played rook g4, and here, when I was playing rook g6, I remember that saying, okay, it's a draw, let it be a draw, I'm so tired. And my team needed this win in order to win this match. So, and I was so already tired and disappointed and unhappy about my technique. I gave a check, and then I made some bishop e6 move. I was not really thinking about anything. I was just, shuffling the pieces. And then suddenly she plays rook b5. I play rook g8. And she plays rook b6. And I was like, oh, wait a minute. But now if like I move my rook away, it's a win. So unexpectedly, move 100. Instead, it's still a winning position, but yeah, black had to play rook h5. It's like the most stubborn way to carry on, and then again, a huge technique is required to win it, or big theoretical knowledge. And yeah, I was lucky that my opponent was also probably tired and blundered, and suddenly after rook g1, I won this game, but I was again very tired, very unhappy, and that led to some unfortunate behaviors. Anyway, I managed to win, to make a draw in the last two rounds, and the team won the European uh, Club Cup, won pretty convincingly. Because okay, Alexandra Goryachkina and Divya, they were playing well on the first two boards, while Alina Kosteniuk was playing excellent. I think she won everything. Like she won. She had a great tournament. And Rhodes, well, I didn't lose a single game. I won a bronze medal on my board, and like team efforts. Yeah, efforts made this victory look very, easygoing, but there were a lot of things behind this victory as usual. Like it's very rare that a victory in a tournament is easy. Anyway, let's move on. We're ready. So it was October, end of October, and in November, well, after those. And that's already Mumbai. Wait. I prepared picture from November. Why it's not in the chronological order? Just a second. There was somewhere. Come on. Because in November I took a break, but I went on and played a game, à l'aveugle, a blindfolded game. There was a nice event in Geneva organized by my sponsor, the Cité Gestion Bank. They invited me to Geneva and I played Blitz game blindfolded. Remember, I was making those streams with Maria Photo Chess with simuls, blindfolded simuls. It was nice. I have to. Sometimes I say to myself that I have to get back and restart doing it. There were many nice streams that I was doing. So that was in Geneva, this game I won in November. And then, I, in December, I had a few more events. First, the Global Chess League, where I played for the second year. I played for the Treveni Continental King. Out of my 2 seasons, of my 3 seasons, this season was the most pleasant. I mean, we had a great atmosphere in the team. We played Blitz. We discussed games. I mean, it was great. Yeah, dream team. And Firuja was playing amazingly on the first board, but unfortunately, okay, I cannot really be like 100% satisfied with my performance because I got sick in Mumbai and I was struggling with the sickness throughout the tournament. I played great games, but then blundered in some other games, and unfortunately, like I cannot, give myself 10 out of 10. But some games were nice. For example, this game against Stavrula Tsalakidu, I was playing black. I was playing my favorite Karakan, very sharp and complicated and dubious line, as some of the opening books suggest for black, but I have another opinion on the matter. And for this game, I prepare this a6 move. In a lot of games, I play e6 as well. So a6 with the idea to take on e5 to defend this b5 square. And after bishop e3, I'm able to capture on e5. My opponent was not really very well prepared for the tactical battle, and instead of just developing bishop e2, h3, like she decided to play queen a4, but this move is not a great idea because I play bishop d7 and I develop my pieces. I sacrifice a pawn on b7. That's the best way to proceed. After queen takes b7, I play e5 with just a positional sacrifice for the moment. So I develop. You see that my two central pawns are very beautifully placed. h3, okay, she was afraid of knight g4 or some other ideas, but okay, it's too slow. Castle, bishop e2, rook b8, and here it's a very strange position where the move backwards is the strongest move. Usually when I make those backwards move, those are not great, but in this particular position, knight e8 is very strong to open up the road for this pawn. So the idea after b4 to play f5, and I'm threatening to capture the bishop by playing f4, and yeah, somehow my pawns are very strong, and you can see that bishop f5, e4, queen g6, it's coming up. So I have a very strong compensation, despite the fact that white has an extra side of the board, an extra, like so many extra pawns on the queen side, the center and the king side advantage here is more important. But it was a rapid game, and of course, knight e8 I did not consider at all, but I felt like I had to act, and that's why I played d4. Here c takes d4 was the strongest. My idea was to capture, and after knight d4 to capture and play bishop f5. And I was hoping that I would get some initiative here, which I do get. But okay, white was scared and played bishop g5. Then I captured, and won the sacrificed pawn back, although I think it's not the strongest move. I have some nice tactical ideas such as e4 to keep sacrificing, because knight e4 is not possible due to knight e4 and the bishop is hanging. And if not, then it's like some, okay, the computer suggests some lines which are very strong, but I didn't really consider them. Of course, during the game I just captured back, I played h6, and I did sacrifice another pawn, this time on a6. And my opponent did capture on a6. Well, probably she had to capture on c5 first, because after bishop takes a6, my two beautiful bishops stay alive. Bishop a3, bishop a7 was another possibility, and I do get a very strong compensation for the sacrificed pawn. And the plan is very simple, like to prepare f5, e4, and push white's pieces back. And that's exactly what I did. My opponent was already in a very serious time trouble, so mistakes came, opportunities arose, and queen d6, d5. Well, it's understandable to put this pawn on the protected square, but unfortunately for white, it opens up another diagonal for my bishop. Rook c8, pinning the bishop, and then e3. Like somewhere it's okay. If not queen e2 or queen b3, for example, then rook bishop a7 would be very strong. But here e3 was excellent, and yeah, I just won a piece, and I'm ahead of checkmating this king. White is not in time to checkmate myself. So it's a very nice game, even though it's a rapid game, but I was happy about the quality of the game. And December it is. So this event happened in December, just before the Doha World Rapid and Blitz in Doha, which was excellently organized, but like, yeah, I did play some good games, but unfortunately not good enough to fight for medals. Neither in Rapid nor in Blitz. In Blitz, it was a complete disaster. Just I was not winning, completely winning position, and I tried very hard, but I just kept losing those winning positions. And but in Rapid, nevertheless, I did finish well. So I did end up in prizes. I shared seventh place, but again, was very far from fighting for medals. So let me show you really fast two of those games that I enjoyed the most. That was a game with Olga Badelka again. We played quite a few games with her in 2025. In almost every tournament we played together, we played a game. But she misplayed here a lot. It's a Lapin defense, the lines that I use a lot. Of Linux Archer, I'm afraid I won't be able to look at at any games. Like I'm not sure if Pawn Mars Destroyer is still here for one puzzle rush battle or whatever it's called, but I'm already like running out of Steam because it's been how many hours already? 3.5 hours of this small recap of the yearly. Yeah, already tired, but let's agree that I will do another stream in 2025 in the upcoming days, and I'll go over your games and we can discuss my new ChessABLE, well, the course that I recorded for ChessABLE in 2025. I haven't talked about it, but I do recommend you to have a look at it. But in this game, I didn't play this d4, second d4. I played the Alapin. Yeah, bishop f5 is a mistake here. C takes d4 or e6 needs to be played because after bishop e2, I'm already ready to keep the pawns rolling. And yeah, here I played the strongest move. And of course, despite the fact that it looks very dangerous, but black already said, I mean, she has said A, so she had to set B, she had to play knight c2. She's not losing immediately because of the fact that after knight h4, she has this bishop g6, and I cannot capture the bishop followed by queen c2 because after knight g6, there is h takes g6. Sorry, the mouse is not behaving, and checkmate is threatening. So I cannot take on g6. I have to sacrifice the rook, play knight b8. The queen has to be kept on this h2 b8 diagonal. Here I capture, I play g3, I prepare bishop f4, but okay, I'm still a rook down. I do have a very strong compensation, but black had to go for this line and had to make me prove the compensation, because in the game Olga played e6, but then I have the same strong initiative as in the previous line, but for free. The rook on a1 is still on the board. And yeah, I won this game very fast and very easily, well, because it's very well, when you're attacking for free, you're developed well, the king of your opponent is in the center. That's how the games go. Knight c7 is a threat. Black tried to protect it, but then I captured on d5, and black cannot develop properly. Bishop e7 runs into d6. So longside castle, well, out of despair, and here I saw a very nice way to trap the queen. I mean, it's not the only way, but d6 was played with the idea after knight e8 to play a4. And suddenly, if she captures on d6, knight d6 or bishop d6, I will play a5. And queen c6 runs into knight takes a7, winning the queen. And that's why she tried to save the queen by playing c4, but it completely destroyed the position, and yeah, and she resigned. a few moves after. So nice miniature. And there was another one in Blitz that I enjoyed even more. That was my game against a young Indian player who did pretty well now. A few days ago in Kolkata, she played well, and I was playing with her when I was like trying to survive in this Blitz event. It was another Caro-Kann, this time a very long and complicated line with opposite side castles. Okay, that's all theoretical stuff. And here I play b5. Well, it's a tricky way with the idea to sacrifice this pawn to open up the b file. Everything happened instantly, so my opponent was demonstrating she knows what she's doing. She captured very fast. I played a6. I prepared for this tournament a6 because the usual way to proceed is rook b8, but okay, a6 has some different nuances because the bishop cannot go back, for example, to d3 anymore after bishop c6. And here suddenly, I mean, she played g4 also instantly without thinking, saying, what's going on? I mean, g4, maybe in some lines it's a very strong idea, but here actually it's a very bad move. I had to take on e3 immediately, knight e5, and then queen a5, and I get a very strong compensation. Okay, instead I started with queen a5, which is also decent, and then queen b6, threatening to take on b2. Yeah, although the computer doesn't like it very much. It says that I had to capture and capture on... okay, queen b6 is a good move because my idea was after rook d2 to capture on e3. And f takes e3, knight e5. And I have a very good compensation for the exchange. And actually the line, like the strongest line, would be to play knight e3. And if white captures, queen b2, bishop f5, and then there is nice puzzle rush checkmate. That would be nice, right? But that's the line for a classical game. Of course, I mean, I don't even remember if I considered knight d3, probably not, but I think I played instantly c4. Like, it's a blitz game, so I was just preparing knight d3. I didn't realize that knight d3 was an option. But okay, followed by queen b2 and bishop f5. Knight f4, queen e3, knight g2, knight e3. And here was a funny moment because my opponent, for like a second, she thought that after knight bishop g4 is a checkmate. And like when I played bishop g4, she was giving me her hand. And during this like gesture, she realized that it's not a checkmate, but she was already, you know, kind of resigning. She didn't say I resigned, but she was like giving me her hand to demonstrate that. And then like she's looking at the board and she realizes that it's not a checkmate, and she was about to make this king c2 move, but then she realized again that she is going to be checkmated after rook takes b2. And that was funny. Yeah, actually it's not against the rules. I mean, it's me who I kind of suppose I mean I figured out she was resigning, but in fact maybe she was just making a move so weirdly. Anyway, yeah, she resigned. She resigned anyway because after king c2, rook takes b2 is a checkmate, and it was not the end of the tournament. It was the end of the first game of Blitz, which I suffered a lot. I lost so many winning positions. Like, it hurt so much when you're like you have 2.5 minutes, but a completely winning position, and you lose it. Ugh, it hurt. So of course I finished this tournament with making a draw in a completely winning position against Maria Muzachuk, and I didn't get even into prizes. But what to do? Blitz, yeah, it's all about keeping composure and being able to convert, because getting a winning position is not enough in Blitz. It's getting result, that's what counts. Okay, anyway, that's... wait, let me see whether I've shared all the photos with you. Yeah, I think so. I think that was all I wanted to briefly say about my 2025 year. Of course, it was like a blitz recap for 3 hours, like a 3 hours blitz recap, because, well, there were many things, many events. Rapid and blitz are getting more and more popular. This year, 2026, there's going to be also there are going to be freestyle events as well. And well, it gives me motivation to keep going, although, like, yeah, there were many travels and trips and upsets and good results, and also some meltdowns and a lot of things to improve in my chess and in my, like, well-being as well, because I'm not really happy about how I cope with certain things. It's been difficult in the last few years, and, well, I've always believed that the only way to survive those difficult moments is just to go on, and despite those difficulties, and just be stronger. No way to do it otherwise. Just be stronger than the difficulties. But it sounds easier than it is, and yeah, I've been struggling. Sometimes, like during certain periods. Okay, so I'm very grateful when I'm not struggling, when I'm doing better, and for the moment I'm doing okay. And yes, about 2026, I don't have many plans, chess plans for the moment, because, okay, I hadn't qualified in 2025 for the candidates. The candidates is going to be a very interesting tournament for both men and women. It will start at the end of March. I'll be following it closely, of course. Nowadays, I enjoy follow tournaments sometimes even more than actually playing those tournaments, especially if we talk about classical chess. I still do love Rapid and Blitz, but classical chess is another story. But so I will have some of league games similar to the last year at the beginning of this year, like German Bundesliga, Austrian Bundesliga, French team championship. That's 3 leagues that I take part into. Like, but that's basically it for the first 5 months. And then from June on, well, it depends. Of course, I'm dreaming of getting an invitation to the Chaos Cup. That's one of my favorite women's tournaments. I'm not dreaming of getting an invitation to the Norway Chess because, well, for several reasons, but I'm not expecting it. But Chaos Cup, yeah, I still do have a slight hope. And also FIDE World Rapid and Blitz Team Championship should be happening somewhere during the summer months. So hopefully I will be playing that. I was also invited and I accepted this invitation to Bill Chess Festival. So I'll be playing the challengers there in July. It might be my first like full scale classical tournament in 2026, but it might not be. I mean, we'll see. And then the Global Chess League just before the Chess Olympiad should be happening. So Global Chess League Season 4, hopefully I will take part, and followed by the Chess Olympiad in Samarkand. And then the end of the year is also pretty like unclear for the moment. I've heard there should be a freestyle women's world championship somewhere throughout 2026, similar to the one that is going to take place in February for men. And Yes, usual World Rapid and Blitz at the very end of the year. I might also play European, like open Rapid and Blitz, because I saw, well, in the calendar it says Portugal. I've never been to Portugal. So I would love to come and visit. And, well, chess tournaments are always a good excuse. I always say to myself, why? I mean, I need to go to play a tournament to visit a country, but that's how it works best. And throughout, we'll see. In 2025, I did have quite a few of events, like chess related, but not chess tournaments, like this conference in Lausanne and some master classes about how chess makes us smarter, and some simuls and blindfold exhibition, like some side events that I do enjoy a lot. And well, hopefully 2026 will bring more events like this. Uh, and if we talk about my streaming plans, I don't know, guys. I don't want to make promises that I won't keep. As I said to Linux Archer, yeah, I'll try to do a stream soon. Like soon, I mean in January, to yeah, to go over this game that Linux Archer is very proud of, and maybe play some tournament online. I was thinking about Chess 960 tournament on Sundays. There's going to be um tournament, some kind of tournament on Sunday, no? For at least in my agenda, I made a no note about it. I saw some kind of let me see. Those are still, guys are still solving. Can you imagine? They're still solving those puzzles while I was doing this recap and everything. Upcoming events. Let me see. Is it so I saw some kind of announcement about Chess 960 event on Sunday. Well, anyway, I don't see it here. I saw it somewhere. If I will manage to find it, and I might play it. Ah, this one. A Bitcoin Chess 960 Championship online. What is it? Bitcoin Chess 960 Championship online event on January 18th. 11 round Swiss, Chess 960, 3+2. All players must play using Proctor, using 2 cameras. We'll see. I will check out the full details. Yeah. Part of the Infinite Games. I mean, I will check it out. I thought that there is some kind, but it's so many informations. I will check it out. Yeah, unfortunately, Proctor. And when there is a Proctor, let me share the link with you, BTC. When there is a Proctor, for example, I would love to stream, but I have no clue how to do it because 2 cameras are already required. And if I'm using a Proctor, like maybe I will do the same way I did today with the Puzzle Rush. Like I will be playing on my computer, small computer, and my laptop, and I will be streaming from another one. We'll see, guys. I'll think about it because. And yeah, also in 2025, I didn't mention, I mean, I mentioned throughout this recap, but I did record a new course for CHESSABLE, and go check it out if you want. It's about this line that I'm still playing and using in some of my Blitz games. First move. Yeah, so it's about this line. D4. C takes D4, Queen takes D4. Immediately. And, well, it's a nice line. To play in Blitz for sure. I do enjoy and I did play a few hundred of games with that already. Okay, I think that's it for today. I will think about this Chess 960 Championship for on Sunday. If not, I will just do a stream on Sunday for Linux Archer and for Pawn March Destroyer and for yes, just yeah, Queen goes to D3 after knight C6. Yeah, that's the idea. And then knight F3, knight C3, and bishop E2 and castle, followed by knight D5, C3, bishop G5, something like this, and putting rooks onto central files. Anyway, guys, that's it for today. Let's hope that I will see you in less than 1 year. Thank you so much for watching this stream. I mean, it's a pleasure. You know, despite me being away for, like, I know I come back and I always find you. Yes, thank you. Thank you, Dirk J, for being here, and Linux Archer for being here despite, yes, my rare streams. I hope that you enjoyed it, and yes, I said I hope that I will be back soon. So take care, guys. Have a good evening, or whatever is left with this evening, and hopefully I'll see you soon. Bye bye.